I'm at the bottom of page 133. The mezzanine was a broad balcony above the lobby, with a large room set off of it by French windows. In the room were many women and a few men, all well dressed, all wearing red roses. Violet didn't really pay much attention to them, though. In the room there was also a stand holding a tray, and on the tray were sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches, sliced cold chicken sandwiches, and cold tongue sandwiches. Ugh. Violet gathered as many of them as would fit onto one of the little china plates provided. Then she sat down on a chair near the wall and ate. Nobody in the meeting seemed to have noticed that she had come in. They were all listening to a tall, thin, horse-faced woman in an enormous hat, decorated with a flood of red roses and 2 ghastly green bird wings. She wore 3 red roses in a row on her lapel. "I think we can count on Speaker Seth Walker from here on in," the horse-faced woman was saying. "He no longer hearkens to the cry of the suffrage siren. We've got him listening to something else." A man in the room took 2 gold coins out of his pocket and jingled them loudly. The people in the room chuckled. Violet ate a cucumber sandwich. "That's one thing we don't have to worry about, Miss Pearson," a woman in a full-length black bombazine gown said to the horse-faced woman. "Money." "No, thank goodness," said Miss Pearson. "There are so many gallant men willing to do their utmost to protect the rights of Southern womanhood. And an employer's right to hire anybody he wants, including needy children who have dependent parents," the man who had jingled the coin said righteously. "And God willing, the rights of the whiskey distillers to conduct their business freely again some day," said a woman sitting near Violet, but not loud enough to be generally heard. "So I don't think we need to worry about all that yellow bunting hanging in the Capitol," said Miss Pearson. "The Suffs can hang all the yellow bunting they want. Yellow bunting doesn't vote, and neither do they." Bunting is like a type of fabric that you make kind of like banners and ribbons out of. People chuckled. "But what about our resolution to table?" a little woman in a lavender dress squeaked. "It failed." "It doesn't matter, Miss Claiborne," said Miss Pearson. "We can make as many motions to table as we want. We'll make another tomorrow." "And besides," said a woman in a floppy straw hat, "there's another little surprise in store for the Suffs tomorrow." Now, Mrs. Pinkard, tomorrow evening, of course, is the public meeting at the Capitol to discuss the passing of the Susan B. Anthony Amendment." Miss Pearson said the name as though Susan B. Anthony were a woman of particularly evil repute, and several people in the room hissed. "Passing of it, indeed. That's not going to happen. Not if we have anything to say about it." "That's the spirit," said the man near the back of the room. Everybody turned to look at him. "And speaking of spirits, we've just run out in the hospitality room." "Not to worry," he raised his hand. "There's plenty of gold in the kitty, as you all know. We have more coming in from the mountains, but meantime we have sent to Hell's Half-Acre for a small supply to tide us over." So it sounds to me, first of all, like there's a lot of women who support women not voting, which is interesting. Obviously, men that support that as well. And that there's kind of a tie-up at this meeting between the people who support not voting and also trying to support the bringing back of alcohol. So there was a period of time in U.S. history where alcohol was banned and it was illegal. It doesn't mean that people didn't drink, they just had to do it in secret. So you couldn't go and buy alcohol. And that's happening right now, is around World War I. And it went on for about 10, 12 years, I think. But it sounds like a lot of the people who don't support women voting support bringing back alcohol. Kind of interesting. All right, I'm at the top of 136. The Antis were bribing people, Violet thought. They'd bribed that Seth Walker fella to make him change sides, and they were serving illegal alcohol to legislators up on the 8th floor. That's why those drunks were up there. Bootleg stuff from Hell's Half-Acre will make you blind, another man observed. Then we'll lead the legislators up to the Capitol by the hand and help them cast their votes. Miss Pearson gestured for silence. We're ahead of the game. The Suffs were counting on Walker, and losing him to us was a serious setback for them. We're going to win this. There were mutters of yes and hear, hear. but not without a fight. Tomorrow we need all hands at the Capitol. Violet combined a cucumber and a chicken sandwich and ate them together as an experiment. Governor Roberts is not on our side. He's made no secret of the fact that he's a suff. We need to ride herd on all our men and do whatever it takes to keep them loyal. And if need be, we may have to be prepared to remove a few of the suff's men from the picture. Whoa. Violet had finished her sandwiches, and she got up to get a few more. Everyone was listening with rapt attention to Miss Pearson, and nobody seemed to care how many sandwiches Violet was taking. They had probably already eaten in the dining room. They were suitably attired. Hanging on the wall behind Miss Pearson was the flag of the Confederate States of America. Violet recognized it from her history books at school. But the Civil War had been over 55 years. What was the matter with these people? Didn't they even know what country they lived in? So instead of a map of the United States, they had a map of the southern states that were the Confederacy, the states that were for slavery during the Civil War. Why were all these women against women's suffrage anyway? Violet could understand how a woman could just never have thought one way or another about voting, but not how a woman could be against it. Well, except Mother was. Violet drifted out of the room to the balcony and stood looking down at the lobby below. The railing was low, too low to lean on, so she didn't stand too close. She stood beside a garland of plaster fruit that decorated an arch in the ceiling and chewed a cold tongue sandwich thoughtfully. From up here you could actually hear what people were saying. A balding, stoop-shouldered man in a brown suit stood below her. He was wearing a yellow rose in his lapel and talking to a woman in a white dress with a yellow sash. "It's a shame about Seth Walker, Miss Pulitzer," he said. "That's a blow. How many do we have now?" "I'm not sure, Mr. Hanover," the lady in white said. "Miss Mayhew is working on the latest numbers now." Violet almost dropped her sandwich when she heard the name Mayhew. "Oh, here she comes now." This time Violet did drop her sandwich, and it fell over the railing. Violet didn't stop to see where it hit. She put her plate down on the floor and turned and clattered down the stone staircase, having the presence of mind to drop her red rose on the stairs as she went. She might not have recognized the woman coming toward her if she hadn't heard those people say Mayhew. Chloe was wearing a smart sky blue walking suit and a straw hat with a yellow rose in it. Looking under the hat, Violet could see that Chloe had bobbed her brown hair. It only just reached her collar. Mother would have had a fit. There were shadows under Chloe's dark brown eyes that made her look older than her 23 years. "Hello, Chloe," Violet said. Chloe stared at Violet as if she were a giraffe. "Violet? What on earth?" Then she ran forward and threw her arms around Violet. I'm going to stop there. I'm on the bottom of 138. It makes me teary to think about. She finally found her.